Hello everyone, Zelleranth here, and today I was just going to do a quick video on the current gacha rates within Ash Echoes and what we can expect on release. I've been delving deeper into some of the mechanics within Ash Echoes, and the more I delve into it, the more complex I see. Complexity with a lot of the mechanics. So I want to make sure before I start really kind of going and delving into explaining some of that, make sure that I have a firm understanding. So after this video, I think I might just start going and looking into the character kits and what characters you might want to pull or re-roll at the beginning of the game. But for today, I thought I'd just take a quick look at the gacha rates for the pulling and kind of explain what it means and kind of compare it to other games that I have played within the gacha realm within the last year. So when you go into the Spirit Dive, that's kind of the area where all the pulling happens. Now, currently on the test server, since the game's not actually live, it doesn't have like the debut banner or the main unit banner for the limited unit. Currently, right now, I just have the standard resonance with the standard units, as well as the standard memory trace. Now, when we go first to the Echomancer, you can kind of go in the details here. You'll see that it has all the starting units that are coming out, as well as all the 5 stars and 4 stars in it. The main thing at the top that you'll see is the probability of getting a SSR, and this is 1.2%. So it is double for anyone who plays like a Hoyoverse game. Theirs is typically 0.6%. So this is basically double what they have within theirs, and then based on what they have built into their pity, you have an on average 2.2% pull rate. So you can expect to get a unit just about every 45-ish pulls. Now their system does have a 50-50 built in like a Hoyoverse game, so on your first pull of an SSR you have a 50-50 chance of getting whoever is the debut unit on the banner. Now it's not going to explain that in this one because this is the standard banner, so it's just one of the random standums that you'll get, or standards that you'll get if you pull on this one. But when it comes to the actual limited banners, it'll be a 50-50, and then it's guaranteed on the second one if you don't get them on the first. Now when we come down and look at the pity, the one thing this is you have that 1.2%, and then soft pity starts at 60. So after 60 pulls, you get into the soft pity mode where it will increase the rate by 6% each pull thereafter, where then at 70 pulls you will have a 100% chance to get the unit. So pretty much your hard pity is 70, and so if you want to guarantee a unit, you'll want to have 140 pulls saved up. Now at a 1.2% pull rate, that you should get units early fairly often. Definitely not all the time. I know a lot of my viewers are sort of Convalaria fans, and we know if they're 2%, it seems like we're getting their SSRs quite often early. Like I've almost never hit their soft pity at 100. So at this you should expect to pull early fairly often on that. And then when it comes to the other one, this is similar to weapon banner, I do plan to make a video on memory traces. I'm still wrapping my head around the mechanics with how they work within the game, but you can kind of think of them like a weapon, except they're not. In that aspect, they're kind of the way to add stats and skills to within your whole team. They don't just apply to a single unit, but I'll get more into depth on what they actually are. But the one thing you'll notice with the gacha system is that there is a different currency for the Echomancers and the memory traces. So in this game, unlike like a Hoyoverse game where it's a good practice, especially for free-to-play, to skip their weapon banners, just because you want to save all your currency you can to try and get as many units to get a broad account versus trying to build tall. In this game, it'll actually be within your interest to pull on memory traces because you'll actually get currency towards this banner. And this one thing you'll notice with the currencies is there are these certain ones that have a little clock here. These are limited pulls or limited time pulls. And so you'll get these like in different events. Like we have the very first beginner one here that we're going to get. It looks to be, I think, 100 pulls for both the Echomancer banner as well as the memory trace banner. But you have a limited amount of time to actually use these pulls. So if I actually go into my inventory here, you can actually see I have 39 days left on this one. I think I started 5 days ago, so I think it starts with like 45 days to use these pulls. And this is kind of to encourage you to pull on the current banners, so you just can't save up these limited ones. And they look to come from mostly events and stuff. They are going to be the first ones used when you pull, so don't worry about accidentally pulling with the ones that you have for the long term, but instead the ones that have the limited time. And from discussions I've seen on the Discord, it does sound like when we get the first banners, there's usually a discounted pull on the first 10 pull. I didn't see an exact amount, but usually on every new Echomancers that come out, you'll probably want to do at least 110 pull on them, and you'll most likely get these limited time ones to use on it in the first place. So it'd be advantageous to use it there. Now, when it comes to the memory traces, they have a little bit of a different system than the Echomancers. They have where when you go in here, you have the multiple SSRs that you want, and when you want to pull for one, you actually have to select the one that you're targeting. So you pick, I can kind of cancel out of this one. So you choose which SSR that you want to go for. I do not actually know at this time if they'll, as they add new ones, if they just go straight into this banner or if they'll have their own limited banner. But from what I'm looking at with the current ones within here, you choose which one you want to target. So you can choose any specific one, and then we'll kind of discuss comps as we get closer to release and after release, which ones you might want to target for specific team comps you're going for. But you find whatever you want. So if you say I wanted to get the Memory Trace Company, I would choose that one. And so this is the one I will be playing a 50-50 for. So just like with the Echomancer, that first SSR that I pull, I have a 50-50 chance of getting this one that I have selected. If I don't get this one, then it's going to be one of the other ones within that banner. And then after that, the second time after I lost the 50-50, I'm guaranteed to get the one that I choose after losing the 50-50. And so with the memory traces, though, one of the great things with it is they actually have a better rate. So when you look at the details for this, let me see. Yep, details here. So they have a probability of 2% of pulling an SSR, and if you take into account their pity, you have a 3.37% chance on average of pulling one. So about every 100 pulls, you should expect to get a 3-ish, a little bit more than 3. And when you kind of go down to the bottom, you can kind of see why. The big thing is that they have the soft pity at 40, where then after 40 pulls, if you do not receive one, it will increase by 11% hereafter until you reach that 100%, which then you'll be guaranteed to get one. So very good odds on the memory traces. And since they have their own currency, you can expect to actually start accumulating quite a decent amount of these SSRs. And the big thing with them is they are for enhancing your team stats and as well as giving additional skills. So you will want to start to slowly collect these over time. All right, and so we have one more last banner here that you can pull on, and this is another memory trace banner. Now this one is only specifically for SRs and rares. There's really no specifics to this one other than it has a 5% chance to get an SR and a 95% chance to get a rare. Now this one uses a unique currency that is different than memory traces. The main memory trace one. So you don't have to worry about when you're pulling on this one that you are using your currency for your SSRs when you only can get SRs on this one. Now you do get a free daily pull on this banner. I don't currently show it because I've already used it, but it will say free daily draw here. You'll want to just go in here and grab this every day. And then the pull currency up here is a thing called the camaraderie ticket, and so you can get these by going in the shop. I'm guessing you can get these also from drops like in events and stuff, but you can trade in for them using these things called friendship medals. And anyone who's played Sword of Convalaria, which I think a majority of my audience currently is playing Sword of Convalaria, it's basically the same thing as the reputation medals. So like there may be other ways to accumulate them, but the main way that I've seen so far will be on your friends list. You have your friends. Every day you can do daily gifts up to 2,000. So like right now I have this friend I've given 30. But so as my friend list grows, I'll be able to do that with every person that I have, at least up to that daily limit. And then I can go into the shop, and those friendship medals can be traded in for these camaraderie tickets. Now, I'm going to kind of go over currencies in the future. And so I don't know if this is going to be the thing you're going to want to use them on right off the bat, simply because I see stuff like these ones in here, and these are what are called transcripts, and they're basically the equivalent of a dupe of a unit. And so I believe this is an SSR just by looking at the colors. And so I would absolutely want to get dupes of SSRs before I start getting these pulls for SRs. But I'll kind of go into depth on that when I get into the currencies. But that is one of the ways that I've seen to accumulate them. I'm guessing you'll also get these friendship medals in other ways, because I've never traded any in, and I have 5 already. So I'm guessing I've got it from one of the events on the daily or whatnot. So, but that's kind of the gacha system, kind of explained in a simple manner. Pretty simple. The rates are fairly good. I wouldn't say they're as good as sort of Convalaria's, but I definitely, from what I can tell, see that we will be getting a lot more pulls than I feel we get in sort of Convallaria. It definitely is more generous than a game, say, like Hoyoverse, for sure, because the rates are better, and it looks like we'll at least get the same amount of currency. And like I said, the soft pity is much lower than some of those games at only 60, and that it is nice that the weapons are they have their own currency, and we should accumulate that through events. So you'll actually be able, and I call it weapon, it's not in the game, these aren't like weapons, you're not attaching them to the units themselves. And I'll do a video that goes more in depth on those. But you will be able to accumulate these, so you're not like having to completely skip them. Now, you're not going to want to use, most likely, if you're free to play, you're not going to want to use your premium currency buying these pulls, so you're not going to pull on it a lot, not near as much as probably the Echomancers, but you will definitely be accumulating some of the SSRs over time on here. But yeah, that's just a quick video on the gacha system. I plan to start going over some of the characters within the game. Now, the game is quite complex as you start learning a lot of the systems. So mine are not going to be as in-depth in the beginning, because it's just going to be a quick look at all the units that will be coming out, especially on the release day, what some of their skills are, their stats, and some maybe ideas of theory crafting for the units. But I will plan to do more videos on every unit as the game comes out and as I learn all the systems, because it does get quite complex as you get farther into this game. So my first videos are just going to be those quick looks of the units, just to give some people some ideas of who they may want to pull. And I do have access to a tier list that I found in the Discord. I'm trying to see if I have any others that I can compare it against, kind of see what are the current best units on the CN version, especially with the current units that we'll have available right off the bat, because those are going to be the ones you want to target. So those will be videos that are coming out. My goal is to try and do it every other day. So I have sort of Convallaria I'm trying to do about every other day, and so my in-betweens will probably be this game. So that's my goal. There's no guarantees that I can do that. I'm actually quite busy with a lot of other stuff too, but we'll just see how it works. But yeah, if you like my content and you want to see more of this, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.